can take that back and put it back in again. And now you can see it's a little more even. Like that.
Nice.
Okay, so let's get this out of here. And then we're going to
finish up the
give
edges.
this another bead on the inside. So you can't see this, but I'm going to take on the inside and I'm going to put, it's always a little bit more difficult to do it on the inside once you get your last one on there, but you want to give it that run all along the inside so again you have it really stable. And then on this I'm going to do it this way as well. And so now in the real world we would let this completely dry so it was very stable. So I know I've got my two loose ones here, so I'm going to let those sit. But now this is when you would decorate the outside. So I'm going to change out my big tip, which this tip right here was an 8 circle, and so that gave us a nice thick bead to attach to. But now we're going to switch it out and we're going to get some decorative tips. So let me go grab those, they're right here. We're going to add some details. So I'm going to start with, I think this is an I've got a 2 and a 16 and I think an 18. So I'm going to start with the 18 and I'm going to do some borders on here. And so I'm just going to pipe some shell borders along the bottom because you want to clean up this kind of messy part. So actually I'm going to start up here and I'm just going to do some nice little shells down.
Pretty.
Yeah, you want all the edges to be nice and pretty.
I'm sorry, what tip is that?
This is an 18.
18.
So I'm just going to pipe some shells on here. And I would do that on all of my edges. Okay, and you can do it across the top.
And this handles a little bit differently than, let's say, buttercream.
Yeah, it's a little stiffer. And again, you don't want your royal to be so thin that it fills.
Right.
You want it to be thick so that it holds its shape. So I would do these all the way around, all up and down, and then across the bottom. So I have really pretty edges, and you can do beading, different, if you want to do a beading border, you can really do whatever you like on your borders. You just want to make sure that you cover this kind of messy area that we've got going here so it all looks cleaner.
And just for the folks that are just starting out, royal icing is, it sets up differently. Royal icing is like hard, almost hard as a rock.
It does. It gets completely hard. And gives you a nice, it's really very glue-like for when you're doing anything with gingerbread like this. It's going to dry very hard. You don't have to worry about it melting, because what we're going to do later on is when you put a candle in here, it's going to generate heat. But the royal icing, I mean, it's not a lot of heat. It's candle heat, but it is a little bit of heat. But the royal icing's hard, so you're not going to have to worry about anything melting. So I'm going to go all along our edges. Like I said, you could do whatever kind of border works for you, just so long as you're cleaning all of this up. So I'm going to do one last one over here, and then I'm going to do across the top, and then we'll start decorating the insides of these. Do we have any other questions out there, Michael?
Well, at this point,
It's all pretty self-explanatory, isn't it?
it's looking great. Yep, it is looking great. And you can, like you said, you can do all kinds of different designs. You can do different shapes.
You can do different shapes. You can do them tall. You can do, square. And like I said, you could do a whole scene. You could do your gingerbread with a whole scene of a little house and stars and a tree and whatever you like.
But even if you wanted to start out with like your classic gingerbread house, you could use this technique for the windows.
You could.
You could have some really cool, windows, and especially if you put a little candle in it, which I think we can show them.
Yeah, we're going to show them after. So I've got my edges all nice and cleaned up, and now you can go in and do some details. So I'm going to switch out my 18.
We love details.